everyone. Welcome to another episode of the QubicaAMF Tech Tip podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. As always, I'm your host, Orly, and we have a special guest on today. We have Archie Seale on the show. Did I say it right again? Okay.
Yep, Seale.
Okay. Archie, he joined the show a few weeks back. But for those that might be new to the show, Archie, can you let everyone know your title with QubicaAMF and what you do in that title?
I work in electromechanical tech support, so any issues you're having with the machines itself or anything like that, that's kind of what we handle and help you guys out with.
Okay. And Archie, today what we were going to cover was, when it comes to being in a bowling center, you have all these families coming in, and nowadays, bumpers, bumpers have been around for a while, but I know when I first was in a center, we had automatic bumpers, and that was kind of a cool thing for me because I'd never seen those before. I was old school, the ones you had to pull up by hand, but nowadays, and those are still out there, but nowadays, I know there is automatic bumpers that, with the touch of a button, they go up, they go back in. So today's question I had was, if somebody's coming up with an issue, whether like their bumpers are not popping up, or maybe they're not going back down, or maybe one's going up, one's not going down, what is usually something that they can do to take care of those issues?
So most of our bumpers run on pneumatics, so it's going to kind of depend on if you have one lane doing it or if you have multiple lanes doing it.
Okay.
If your entire house, if the bumpers aren't coming up properly, you're most likely going to have an issue with your air compressor because it's going to be basically not compressing enough air for bumpers to come up, or you might have a leak somewhere in your system. If you just have one or two bumpers, or if you have one pair of bumpers, it's most likely going to be your BCU box, which is going to be that smaller 2-inch by 2-inch black box that communicates with your scoring system and basically tells the bumpers when to go up and down. So if you can't control it to get it to go up and down, that's most likely the issue. And I do want to say this is mostly for your durable bumpers, which are different than our hyperbowl bumpers. Durable is, I think, a little more common at the moment.
Okay.
And it's kind of swapping over. And then you get down to having only one bumper that won't come up, and that could be something like one of the solenoids that control when the air is allowed to go or not. If it's not coming up, then you might have an issue with the solenoid. You could have an issue with the line from just that solenoid to that actuator, or you could have the pin in the actuator accidentally came out. You could have any number of issues, but the first thing you're going to want to do if your bumpers aren't coming up is check the actuator arm and make sure nothing's either missing or broken. If that's not connected, your bumpers aren't going to come up properly.
Okay. And, you mentioned that box. Is that something they would replace the whole box, or something within that box they would replace?
The easiest thing to do is usually just unplug the box, wait about 10 seconds and plug it back in, see if it works. If not, it might be smart to swap it with another lanes and see if maybe the issue happens to be the box, or narrow down where that issue is coming from.
And is there anywhere on, I know there's an area on the in the Q portal where there's some, they could find some things on how to fix it. Is that in there for them to take a look if that is something they need to fix?
Normally it is. You're just going to want to go to the durable section of our bumpers guide, or of our bumpers section. You're going to want to look for the durable manual. And usually you can find some more information on that, but that just covers, usually if the bumpers aren't coming up, those are a few of our main things to check. I think every once in a while it could be something else in your scoring system, but that's not something I'm more familiar with, so I'm not going to tell everyone how to solve that.
All right. And another quick question on this. Is there something people should be doing, like any kind of general maintenance for bumpers to maybe keep them, is that something that you know about, if there's something they should be doing?
Bumpers normally aren't too bad. The one thing you do want to watch out for them is just every now and then, if you're already messing with something in the gutters or that system, just make sure that everything's clear and nothing's scraping on the bumpers. You will want to every now and then check on the spring that brings the bumpers back down. If that wears out, then your bumpers aren't going to come back down properly. It's just something good to check.
Okay. Well, Archie, again, I appreciate your time for coming on the show. Again, this is your second time coming on, and hopefully you'll come on a lot more because you give some great information. So, and if you're new to the show, listening for the first time, make sure to go back and listen to past shows. There's just a bunch of different shows that we're doing, and some are just very common issues. Some are a little bit more, more technical. But for some people, I say they might listen and be like, oh, that's like an easy fix. I know how to do that. But again, we have a lot of new customers that are opening new centers that, that come across some of these little issues. So it's a great way to find out how to fix things. Maybe let your staff listen, because some shows are just about general maintenance. Some shows are about fixing something. So again, a lot of great information. So yeah, make sure you go back to those shows, share them with your friends, your staff, your management. And yeah, until next time, we will talk to everyone soon. Thank you.